My roommate, Joanna, kept a pet dog in our dorm. Out of kindness, I bought a cage and told her that letting the dog run loose would scare people. Instead, I was met with her furious retaliation. "Sarah, how can you be so selfish? Would you like to be locked in an iron cage? I've had Dodo for years. It doesn't bite anyone. Stop worrying your pretty little head over nothing." During a room inspection, her dog went berserk and lunged at dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee. I risked my life pulling the dog off, but the injured supervisor still blamed me. The incident went viral online. Joanna, however, only identified *me as the dog's owner. The other roommates, threatened, dared not speak up. Dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's son, in a fit of rage, slapped me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was back. Back to the moment my roommate first brought the dog to the dorm. This time, I'd repurposed the iron cage into a storage shelf. "This is something I bought to decorate my desk. Don't misunderstand, it's definitely not for your dog." My roommate, Joanna, looked at me suspiciously, then opened her express delivery box, revealing a square iron cage. "Sarah, what did you buy?" Her tone was exactly the same as in my previous life. I skillfully tore off the delivery slip, turned my head, and replied with a smile, "Oh, this? It's just something I bought for decoration. Aren't those photo grid shelves for decorating desks trending online right now?" Hearing me, she visibly relaxed, letting out a sigh of relief. I added, making sure to emphasize, "And just to be clear, it's definitely not for your dog Dodo to live in." She let out another breath, but instead of returning to her bed, she stepped closer. "But if you wanted a grid shelf, why didn't you just buy one pre-made?" Joanna glanced at the carton on the floor, a hint of anger in her voice. "You're not planning to sneakily lock my Dodo in there while I'm at class, are you?" Kevin, who also claimed to love dogs, heard this and immediately came closer, eyeing me with suspicion. "Sarah," he pressed, "you've always complained about Dodo running freely around the dorm. You didn't actually buy this to lock it up, did you? Everyone knows how gentle and well-behaved Dodo is. Do you really need to be so aggressive and intimidating?" Looking at Kevin's fiery gaze, I replied sincerely, "Dodo is so adorable, how could I possibly bear to lock it up? I'd sooner lock myself in a cage than Dodo, wouldn't I? I'm going to cut this iron cage apart right now and turn it into a decorative grid wall." They both saw my apparent sincerity and, satisfied, returned to their desks. I calculated the time. The dorm supervisor would be here for inspection in about an hour. I quickly cut the cage, flattened the iron frame, hung a few small landscape photos on it, and then posted about it on my social media. Done with everything, I packed my things and headed straight to the study room. My roommate, Joanna, was famous for her love of small animals. Everyone in our dorm knew it. She even claimed she'd once suffered from depression and that her dog, Dodo, had pulled her out of the darkness. After that, Kevin, another roommate, excitedly chatted with Joanna about pets. The two talked happily, and the result was that by the second weekend, Joanna, instigated by Kevin, had brought her pet dog back to the dorm. I initially thought that even though the school didn't allow pets, she was still my roommate. She probably just wanted to show Kevin for a bit and would take Dodo home in a few days, so I didn't say much. To my surprise, Kevin not only brought all sorts of dog food, but even laid out a small bed for Dodo on his own bed. Dodo seemed to be settling in for good. I looked at the mess on the floor, lost in thought. Kevin, who supposedly loved dogs, didn't seem to care at all about Dodo's indiscriminate urination and defecation. But another roommate, Tiffany, was so terrified that she often stood frozen at the dorm room door, not daring to take a single step closer to Dodo. After class, I kindly discussed it with Joanna, asking her to manage Dodo a little better, teach it to be quieter, and not disrupt other people's normal lives. She immediately became upset, retorting, "I'm selfish, I have no compassion." She then painstakingly comforted Dodo for a long time. Whenever other girls expressed concern about Dodo running loose, Joanna would explode as if she'd swallowed gunpowder, practically wanting to curse their ancestors. Gradually, I started finding an unknown yellow liquid appearing on my bed. I decided to have a serious talk with her. I bought an iron cage online, thinking it would keep Dodo from running wild when we were at class. Instead, I was met with Joanna's fierce verbal assault. In the end, because I bought that cage, I was framed as the dog's owner. Not only did my good deed earn me resentment, but I was slandered to the point of a tragic death. Reborn into this life, she can raise that pet dog however she pleases. In my previous life, during dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's inspection, Dodo, which Joanna had hidden, suddenly went berserk. It lunged, knocking Mrs. Lee to the ground, and savagely bit her arm and thigh. Kevin, who boasted of being a dog lover, stood frozen in terror. Tiffany, who was already terrified of dogs, scrambled onto her bed and dared not come down. And Joanna, the dog's actual owner, slowly emerged from the bathroom, saw the horrific scene unfold, yet stood motionless, frozen to the spot. Dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee, over 50 years old, screamed in agony as the dog mauled her. When I rushed forward to pull it off, I was bitten several times myself. My clothes were torn, soaked in blood. Despite that, I struggled fiercely with the dog, pulling for several agonizing minutes. Dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's arm finally broke free from its jaws. Mrs. Lee, though still conscious, showed no gratitude after the ordeal. Instead, she vehemently insisted that I was the one who kept the dog and threatened to report me to the school for severe disciplinary action. When Dodo tried to lunge again, I once more stepped in front of Mrs. Lee. And she, without distinguishing right from wrong, just kept screaming at me. Room 302, you students have seriously violated school regulations. And you asterisk, young lady, how could you keep a pet in the dorm? Mrs. Lee, this isn't my pet. Still trying to deny it. If it's not yours, why are you shielding it? Mrs. Lee yelled, not letting me finish. She didn't even listen to my explanation, condemning me on the spot. Students from nearby rooms gathered, filming and posting everything online. The moment netizens started asking who the dog's owner was, Joanna panicked. She used her allowance to hire online trolls and paid commenters, fiercely manipulating public opinion to target me, even posting photos of the iron cage I had bought. Just like that, I was identified by netizens as the dog's owner. Roommates Kevin and Tiffany, threatened by Joanna, also nodded and admitted to reporters that it was my pet dog. Dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's son, enraged by the news, slapped me repeatedly. My face swelled up like a pig's head, blood streaming down nonstop. In the end, I didn't survive. Recalling all the pain and helplessness of my previous life, my heart felt as if it were being stabbed all over again. But this time, I had already left the dorm early. I wanted to see exactly what would happen. I timed my return to the dorm perfectly for the room inspection. Just as I expected, dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee, flashlight in hand, opened the door to room 302, and Dodo once again lunged the very instant the door opened. This time, Mrs. Lee's entire arm was torn to shreds by Dodo, a bloody mess. Call an ambulance quickly. Kevin and Tiffany were both terrified, their faces ashen. Joanna, frozen in place, dared not take a single step forward. Dodo, stop it right now. Joanna seemed to finally grasp the horrifying scene before her, but she remained rooted to the spot, unable to move a single foot. Kevin turned his head and screamed at Joanna, Joanna, quickly, go stop it. That's your dog. Joanna instantly became defensive, glaring angrily at Kevin, then fearfully shook her head. Why is this dog like this? I'm scared too. Joanna even took a few steps back. She was the one who had brought the dog here on the very first day, proudly boasting that she'd raised it for years and it wouldn't bite anyone. Yet now, when something actually happened, this owner not only failed to intervene but retreated, clearly wanting to escape. Dodo still showed no signs of stopping. Eventually, several teachers rushed over, rescued Mrs. Lee, and took her to the hospital. However, her arm was a bloody, mangled mess. Students from other rooms who witnessed the scene filmed videos and uploaded them online. Some even posted lengthy videos capturing the entire violent attack, which quickly went viral. People within the school were utterly shocked, and netizens were even more enraged, posting questions and accusations. Why didn't the dog owner stop it? Whose dog is this? They didn't even keep it properly caged during an inspection. My God, how daring. I only dare to keep mosquitoes and flies in this school. How could her roommates even agree to a dog? Now look, the whole room is in trouble. Both netizens and students on campus furiously attacked the dog's owner. Seeing the endless stream of malicious comments, Joanna slumped to the ground in terror. Kevin glanced at my decorative shelf and immediately shifted the conversation to me. Sarah, you bought an iron cage. Why did you cut it up? If Dodo had been in there, it wouldn't have rushed out like that. I was so furious I actually laughed. Before, they practically wanted to help me break my iron cage. Now that disaster has struck, they still find a way to blame me asterisk. Joanna, as if prompted, began to cry pitifully. That's right, Sarah. You deliberately ruined the cage just to make trouble for me, didn't you? I couldn't believe she could utter such words. Before, they were always gushing about Dodo's need for freedom, practically wanting to lock asterisk me in an iron cage. Now that something terrible has happened, they want to pin such a huge crime on me. Tiffany, who had been silent until now, suddenly piped up. Sarah, you bear some responsibility for this too. Joanna is an outstanding student council officer. Why don't you just say you're the dog's owner? That way, it won't affect Joanna's scholarship or bonus. What an ungrateful, wide-eyed wolf. All that wasted effort. I used to worry she was scared of dogs, comforting her for so long, telling her not to be afraid, and even sharing so much pet care knowledge with her. And now, to protect Joanna's scholarship, she wants asterisk me asterisk to admit I'm the dog's owner. I slammed my hand on the table. So what if she's an outstanding officer? If you raise a dog that bites someone, you're not responsible. Whoever brought the dog here is responsible. You're so worried about her, why don't asterisk you take the fall instead? Tiffany stammered, this is so serious, she'll definitely be disciplined. Oh, so she knows how serious this is, yet she still wants to push someone else to take the fall. How utterly ridiculous. Kevin, his face contorted with anger, interjected. Sarah, before, when Dodo was roaming around, why didn't you stop it then? Now that something's happened, you definitely bear some responsibility too. It's not like it affects your chances for any awards anyway. Why don't you step up and resolve this for everyone? Tiffany quickly chimed in. Exactly. You're so smart, the teachers definitely won't hold it against you. Joanna has already failed 3 subjects. If she gets disciplined again, what if she can't graduate? We're roommates, after all, you can't be so selfish. I scoffed coldly. Kevin, aren't you supposed to be so well-connected and influential? If you're so eager to help people, why don't asterisk you say you brought the dog to school? Kevin remained silent. That evening, I saw a post on my timeline. An apology to dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee. It was Sarah who brought the puppy to the dorm and even dismantled the new dog cage, leading to Dodo losing control and injuring Mrs. Lee. We had previously advised her not to bring it back, and if she did, to keep it safely locked in a cage, but she wouldn't listen and even called us busybodies. We are now urging her to come forward and apologize, but she's too stubborn and refuses to admit her mistake. We truly have no other choice but to apologize on behalf of our roommate Sarah. She even posted a picture of asterisk my asterisk desk. Joanna had made the first move, directly framing me as the dog's owner. She offered a sincere apology on her timeline, tagging several student council officers, portraying herself as a responsible, outstanding student, while I was painted as a student utterly lacking in character and responsibility. Joanna's timeline post was screenshotted and reposted everywhere online. My account immediately became a trending topic. That evening, the dorm door, usually locked tight, was suddenly kicked open from outside. I knew dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's son had arrived, but this time, the unlucky one was the dog's true owner, Joanna. The door swung open without warning. Kevin, whose bed was closest to the door, immediately stood up. "Who's there?" Joanna asked impatiently. Since people often came to her to submit documents, she was used to the door opening abruptly, but she hadn't yet realized this person actually had a key to our dorm room. Once the door was fully open, the man stepped inside, then closed and locked it behind him. I clearly saw his face. It was the same man who, in my previous life, had slapped me until my blood vessels burst and I died. I'd heard dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee only had this one son. He didn't have a proper job and lived entirely off his mother's salary. Now that she was injured, not only could she not continue to support him, but he'd actually have to spend money himself. Naturally, he was instantly enraged. He'd often been seen around campus, always cozying up to the teachers, frequently boasting, "My mom's a big shot here, your jealousy is pointless. Other girls like me, none of them like you lot, go take a look in the mirror." Yet, seeing him now, I felt no fear. Today, with his mother bitten by a dog, Joanna had truly picked a fight with the wrong person. Dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's son saw me, his eyes bloodshot, a stick clutched in his hand. He pointed it at me and snarled, "You're Sarah, the dog owner they're talking about online, aren't you? You're the one who kept the dog that bit my mother." Before I could even open my mouth, Joanna quickly chimed in. That's right, sir, it's asterisk her asterisk dog. Kevin also stepped forward, pointing at me. It's her dog, and she deliberately broke the dog cage. Why don't you hurry and explain yourself clearly to this gentleman? I recalled how, in my previous life, I was slandered by my roommates, momentarily stunned and unable to defend myself, leading that man to instantly declare me the culprit. But now, I felt no panic whatsoever. I held my head high and walked right up to him. Sir, the truth isn't quite what you're seeing. Under Joanna's frantic prompting, Tiffany stammered, Sarah, don't be so stubborn. Just admit your mistake and apologize. That's right, that's right. Kevin vigorously nodded, their testimonies perfectly synchronized. They were leading dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's son to heap all the blame on me. If I hadn't seen their true colors before, I probably would have been drowned by their accusations again. The man clenched the stick in his hand, aggressively advancing. You kept a pet without permission and couldn't even manage it properly. They all say it's your dog, and you still won't admit it. He was so furious his hands trembled, looking like a demon. I picked up the tablet from the desk, played the video I had recorded earlier, and sincerely asked him, Sir, would you like to know what really happened at the scene? Or perhaps you'd prefer to see for yourself first? The video played, showing their reactions. When dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee was attacked, Kevin shouted, Joanna, that's asterisk your asterisk dog. Go stop it right now. Tiffany echoed, That's right, quickly, stop Dodo. But Joanna's voice, full of fear, replied, But it's gone mad. What can asterisk I do? At that moment, the man noticed several bags of dog food and dog toys next to Joanna's bed. Only then did he truly confirm that Joanna was the dog's owner. He said sternly, So, it was the occupant of bed number 3 who brought this pet dog here. Joanna saw the video and was about to offer an explanation when the man slapped her across the face. Kevin quickly snatched my tablet and violently threw it to the ground. How can you be so manipulative, making fake videos like this? I calmly replied. If it were a fake video, would you need to get so agitated? Smashing it won't help. I've already scheduled it to be posted on online forums. This video already has hundreds, if not thousands, of copies. Do the 3 of you really think that by coordinating your lies, you can frame me? When you lie with open eyes, doesn't your conscience bother you? In my previous life, they feared exposure, feared being disciplined, and unable to graduate normally. Instigated by Joanna, they deliberately provoked that man, leading to me being slapped to death. This time, I genuinely wanted to see which they would choose: disciplinary action or being an accomplice to murder. The man calmed down, his eyes darting around the room, then stated the same demand as in my previous life. Joanna, isn't it? If we settle this privately and considering you're a student, pay me 500,000 won and perhaps we can resolve this. Kevin immediately cried out, 500,000 won? Sir, please calm down. Joanna's family runs a business. She can definitely get 500,000 won. That's right, sir. Don't get agitated. Let's negotiate slowly. Hearing that, the man lowered the iron stick. But Joanna, who always boasted to us, rubbed her hands together, her voice trembling slightly. Sir, I'm just a student. I don't have that much money. Can you please forgive me this time? Hearing her, he immediately picked up the iron stick from the ground again. Impatiently, he snapped, If you can't get me 500,000 won today, Joanna, I won't let you off easy. Joanna frantically signaled to Kevin, but Kevin was frozen solid with fear, completely missing Joanna's desperate plea. Sir, she can definitely get it. Please rest assured. Joanna desperately shook her head. The man looked at Joanna meaningfully. I heard her family runs a business. How about 1 million won then? Once I get the money, I'll leave. Joanna suddenly remembered Tiffany once mentioning she had 100,000 won in savings. She burst into tears, begging Tiffany for help. Tiffany lowered her head, hesitating, seemingly weighing the pros and cons. Joanna, desperate, shook Tiffany's shoulder. Help me, Tiffany, you're my best friend, I'm so scared. So, asterisk she knows fear too. In my previous life, when that man demanded compensation from me asterisk, she was right there, adding fuel to the fire, claiming it was due to my wicked heart, and that I should bear responsibility for violating regulations by bringing a pet. But now that she's asterisk caught, she doesn't want to take responsibility. You can't get it out, at least 500,000 won. Call your parents now and tell them to transfer it to my card. If not, I won't have come here for nothing. Your life is mine. Joanna shook her head frantically. No, sir, let's talk properly, the money will come. Tiffany, can you lend me 100,000 won first? Coerced by Joanna, Tiffany reluctantly transferred 100,001 to her. Joanna then knelt on the ground, begging the man, "Please don't spread this outside. I'll find a way within an hour to gather the remaining 400,001 and give it to you." The man put on his hat and left the dorm. But online, netizens quickly deduced that Joanna was the dog's true owner. Soon, sharp-eyed users dug up Joanna's social media accounts and even found the bars she frequented. Through the video I posted, netizens even analyzed Dodo's breed and size. The school, wanting to avoid a larger scandal, handled the matter privately. But from then on, Joanna looked at me with venom. "Sarah, I'm an outstanding student council officer. Why didn't you take the blame for me?" "You're just jealous, deliberately trying to see me humiliated, aren't you? When I said you were the dog's owner, I initially planned to praise you to the instructors after everything blew over and even get you an award. Why are you so utterly lacking in judgment? It's truly 8 generations of bad luck to have a roommate as unreasonable as you." Joanna, after paying 500,001 in front of others, would smile. But in private, she would secretly pick up and eat other people's leftovers. I recalled at the start of the semester, she introduced her family as quite well off, always occasionally showing off a few branded bags. I suspected her words were somewhat exaggerated. I even remembered one time I inexplicably had attendance points deducted, only later finding out it was because Joanna, being late, had reported my name instead. Thinking of her as a roommate, I never exposed her. Later, Joanna became even more arrogant after being promoted to student council chair. Kevin and Tiffany, leveraging her student council title, conveniently received numerous benefits, treating Joanna like a treasure in our room. I barely endured it for a year. Joanna would constantly insinuate that I wasn't sociable, so I stopped going out with them. Whenever they invited me, I'd just smile and say, "I know nothing about exploring cafes and restaurants." After that asterisk incident, I requested to change dorms. My instructor, after understanding the full story, agreed to let me change rooms. Finally, I could escape these esteemed chairpersons. In my new dorm, I experienced a comfort I hadn't felt in a long time. It turned out that being a student council chair didn't necessarily mean being superior to others. Everyone in my new dorm was very friendly and didn't keep pets. But just a few days after I moved in, Joanna contacted me to split the utility bills. How ridiculous. I wasn't even living there anymore, yet I was expected to pay utility bills. Her excuse was that Kevin and Tiffany were a bit short on cash recently and hoped I could help them save a little money to go check-in at some cafes. I immediately blocked her. "Student council chair, my foot, go kneel in a dark room if you want to beg." But to my surprise, the next day, Joanna brought Kevin to the door of my new dorm. "Sarah, let's discuss that 500,001. If we divide it among the 4 of us, each person only pays a little over 100,000. Kevin was the one who said it. I don't know what Joanna had threatened them with that they agreed to this compensation. Seeing that I wasn't holding my phone, they seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Tiffany whispered, "Sarah, you don't want to make a big deal out of this, do you?" They had chosen the timing very cleverly, right when my 3 new roommates weren't there. The 3 of them formed a human wall, pushing me into the room. I offered Kevin a sweet smile. "Oh, that's right, remember to compensate me for the tablet you broke, Kevin. I've already sent you the price. Just a friendly reminder, it's worth over 3,000 yuan. Kevin heard that and instantly flared up. Joanna cut him off. "Fine, let's just say your tablet is 5,000 yuan. Subtract it from this 125,001, and that's that. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to graduate. All these years of study will be for nothing." I pretended not to understand. What did my graduation have to do with them? I sighed. What is Chairperson Joanna doing here? Chairperson Joanna, have you become a leader already? That shouldn't give you the right to barging in, should it? Please turn yourselves around and head for the door. School regulations clearly state no one can enter another person's room without permission. Kevin vehemently declared, "Whether Joanna is a leader or not is none of your business. Now you need to find a way to pay this 100,000 or you'll suffer the consequences." Tiffany said tremblingly, "Sarah, you don't want everyone to be at odds, do you? After so many years as roommates, let's try to understand each other. Such a terrible thing happened and we're all very sad, but you can't be so heartless." It turned out both of them wanted to brainwash me. Just then, Joanna suddenly dropped to her knees, tugged at my pant leg, and tearfully begged for my forgiveness. I was so startled by her sudden prostration that I continuously backed away. "Sarah, can you forgive me? You said before you wouldn't pursue my responsibility anymore. Please don't sue me, okay? I know you're smart, but I'm just from a normal family. If you make me take the blame again, I might not be able to graduate. My mom will sell me to an old single man in the village. Please, can you forgive me? After that, Kevin also pulled Tiffany down to kneel. Please, Sarah. Can you forgive us? I scratched my head and scoffed coldly. What play are you all acting in? What's my asterisk role supposed to be next? Sarah, please forgive us. Please, please. As they spoke, they started kowtowing, hitting their heads on the ground, showing no intention of stopping even if their heads broke. The level of absurdity from these three people far exceeded my imagination. It was as if I was the evil person burdening them with a huge compensation. I helplessly waved my hand. Your mistakes have nothing to do with me. Please stop these clumsy theatrics in front of me. Has no one ever told you that your acting is truly terrible? Hearing me, Joanna suddenly clutched my pant leg, crying miserably and frowning said, Sarah, it's my fault. Please don't go provoking my parents anymore, okay? They're old, they can't handle such a shock. Please don't threaten them anymore, okay? I pulled my pant leg free from her tight grip. Joanna, are you finally done with your act? You know your parents are old, they sent you to school. Is asterisk this what they wanted to see you become? I brushed the dust off my pants, shaking my head repeatedly. You know you've done wrong. What you need to do is fix it, not play these deceitful games. Admit your mistakes, compensate for the money, and then find a way to make amends instead of just sitting here crying. Kevin heard that and immediately stood up, pointing his finger at my nose and scolding. Sarah, how can you be so shameless? You've brought Joanna to this miserable state, and you still say such sarcastic words. Oh, asterisk, you are the most shameless people, so please, the most shameless people, kindly leave my room? I parried every attack, their words were utterly incapable of angering me. Tiffany also stood up, somewhat awkwardly saying, Sarah, stop being so aggressive and intimidating. Joanna is also a student, don't talk to her like that. You should help your classmates. After all, you were roommates for a while, don't be so heartless. Oh, a dog has feelings, does it? Then go tell asterisk your asterisk emotional dog these things. I was so furious I laughed out loud. Joanna still had no intention of leaving. She glared at me fiercely. Just then, there was a knock on the door. My new roommates were back from class. Only then did the three of them reluctantly leave. My new roommate asked, Sarah, were those three your old roommates just now? I nodded. Why did they look so upset leaving just now? They weren't causing trouble for you again, were they? I shook my head. Probably not. I returned to my spot. By now, the likes on my live stream had exceeded 500,000. The number of online viewers reached an astonishing 100,000 people. The comment section exploded with netizens gossiping. Oh my God, what kind of bullying did I just witness here? No way, is that Joanna girl crazy? What kind of situation is this? The villain acted first. No wonder she raised such a vicious dog. Like owner, like dog. In less than 10 minutes, my live stream was banned for broadcasting unhealthy content, but I had already saved all the relevant evidence. Just as I walked past the door of their dorm room, some chatter echoed from inside. Joanna, is your plan really going to work? Isn't doing this too risky? That's right, what if there's a slip-up? Joanna's tone was confident and strong. Don't be nervous. I'm a big blogger with 10,000 followers on a social media platform. One post from me can completely ruin her. Besides, don't netizens love seeing dramatic reversals? This time, I'm going to create an earth-shattering reversal. At first, some people definitely won't believe it, but we just need to make a small portion believe it and start spreading it, and eventually victory will be ours. I took a deep breath. So they truly had no good intentions. Luckily, I hadn't turned off the live stream. Otherwise, this matter would be even more troublesome to deal with. Joanna, you're amazing. We'll follow you from now on. If there are any competitions or awards later, remember to bring us along. I couldn't believe it. The two of them were doing all this just for Joanna's paltry promises of benefits. A moment later, when the voices inside stopped, I knocked on their door. Joanna, I've thought it over. I truly bear some asterisk responsibility for this, but right now I don't have that much cash. I have a frozen bank card that needs to be unfrozen. How about we go together? Large sum transfers can only be done at the bank counter. Joanna scoffed disdainfully. She pretended to think, stroking her hair, then said hesitantly, Fine then, let's go now. Okay. As soon as they stepped out of the school gate, 3 police cars were waiting for them. We are the police. We received a report that 3 female students from room 302 have committed illegal acts. Please cooperate with our investigation. The three were taken into 3 separate police cars. Joanna, though her face was etched with displeasure, still put on a harmless, innocent expression in front of the police. "Officers, hello, we are all good, law-abiding students. You must have made a mistake somewhere. Joanna, Kevin, Tiffany, right?" They nodded. "Then there's no mistake. You ladies just sit tight." I turned and walked away without looking back. I opened my phone screen. The trending list was still dominated by their names. The full-length video of the 3 of them coming to my new dorm to cause trouble was also released, with shares reaching 20,000. I leaned back in my dorm chair, quietly watching everything unfold. It truly was a case of being too clever for one's own good, ultimately harming oneself. News of the 3 being taken away in police cars was reported one after another. Just then, a shocking news alert flashed across screens. Mrs. Lee, the woman bitten by a dog at a university in city name, has been pronounced dead this morning after emergency treatment failed. Reporters, investigating through the hospital, suggest the death was likely due to a bacterial infection, exacerbated by pre-existing conditions. Immediately, netizens everywhere erupted in outrage, all condemning the dog's owner. Kevin and Tiffany were released after giving simple statements. They soon learned online that netizens knew about their deliberate attempt to film me that day. They hid in the dorm, not daring to go outside. After hearing the news of dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's death, Kevin, his face full of bitter resentment, snarled, "This old hag, so she died, so what? She made us suffer so much, got us yelled at so much. See, it's because this supervisor always meddles too much." "That's why Dodo got so angry and bit her." Tiffany chimed in. "Exactly. Why are people online still defending a dead person? If they knew about her disgusting surprise room inspections, they'd surely curse her along with us." After the fierce onslaught from netizens, the names of the 3 of them on campus were now known by everyone. Joanna was sued by dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's son. The school dealt with her severely, and furthermore, strictly prohibited keeping small animals in dorms. Not even stray cats found on campus were allowed, no matter how cute. Many students who had secretly kept pets in their dorms reluctantly moved them off campus. Joanna's position as student council chair, which she had obtained through illicit means, was revoked. Unfairly awarded prizes were reevaluated. Later, through police investigation, I learned that Kevin and Tiffany had actually helped Joanna secretly tamper with votes to ensure her election as student council chair. This was why they had agreed to Joanna's absurd demands for compensation. It turned out Joanna held their weaknesses in her hand, which made them so willing to become her puppets, losing their independent judgment. Ultimately, Joanna had to return the compensation money to them. As new strange events emerged, this matter was quickly forgotten. Kevin, unable to endure the constant pointing and whispering, took a 1-year leave of absence from school. The day before her leave, she finally compensated me for all damages. Room 302 was initially left with only Tiffany. She would often wake up startled at night, always screaming, which led to many complaints from students on the same floor. Furthermore, Tiffany hoped to have a roommate, but after knowing her story, no one wanted to share a room with her. They even hoped she would leave the dorm building entirely. Under heavy pressure, she was forced to request to live off campus. When I walked past room 302 again, the door was covered in dust. After this, I no longer paid much attention to the matter. For some reason, there were more and more stray cats on campus. Students spontaneously formed an animal protection association. One day after class, returning to the dorm, I saw a cat curled up next to my roommate's bed. My new roommate, named Chen, quickly explained, "Don't misunderstand, I'm not keeping a cat. This cat is injured, I brought it back first, otherwise it would be bullied by other cats." I just contacted the association president. He said he'll take it for treatment right away. It'll be taken away immediately. How could we bear to keep these adorable cats confined in our tiny dorm room? We looked at each other and smiled. That's right, true animal love is about respecting their nature and living in harmony with them, not forcing them to be by your side in the name of love. "Sarah, do you know how to bandage wounds? Can you temporarily treat the kitten's injuries?" "Yes, I know a little." At the vet hospital, the kitten in my arms was reluctant to leave my embrace. Under the president's gentle coaxing and stern threats, the kitten finally cooperated with the treatment. 1 year later, Kevin, who had taken a leave of absence, returned to school, joining the cohort after her to catch up on missed subjects. but not even 2 days passed before she saw stray dogs on campus, was so terrified she couldn't speak, and immediately requested another month's leave, citing depression. Tiffany's academic performance plummeted uncontrollably after this incident. She would even scream and run away very quickly upon seeing a puppy. When dorm supervisor Mrs. Lee's son returned, he hung his head, covering his face, crying loudly, "Mom, I don't have a mom anymore. Mom, I'm so sorry, it's because I didn't work hard and was greedy for money." He cried, repeating his apologies, beginning to repent to heaven and earth. Although he had trespassed into the female dorm with an iron stick, he caused no actual injuries. He was only temporarily detained for a few days and then released. It was said he also received a sum of compensation. After packing up his mother's belongings, he left. Some even claimed to have seen his figure at the police station where Joanna was detained. Before graduating, I personally erased these unhappy memories, folded up my iron shelf, and took it away. Later, I moved to another city and met many people who truly loved animals. In that moment, I felt incredibly relieved and at peace. The sky also seemed a few shades brighter. Roommates do not equate to friends. When faced with people who only make you feel suffocated, draining your spirit, it is always best to leave them as early as possible.